boys, today we're going to be talking about native tier 3 and, you know what, by extension, native tier 2 characters, and why now is probably one of the worst times to build these characters up from scratch, and why, unless you absolutely must, you're much better off just hoarding the resources, the black antimatter, as much as you can, the feathers, etc., because of the next wave of heroes coming in. And I'll explain what I'm talking about, but there's no better explanation than the in-game for either World Boss Kang, which we know is going to become a playable character, probably going to become the next big native tier 3, on top of the fact that we have Otherworld Battle now banning, 1, 2, 3, 4 native tier 2 characters right there. 2 of them, BAM, 2 of them feathers. And then here you have universals being cucked, which of course affects basically most of the native tier 2s. Not just the bad one, not just the good ones, but the bad ones as well, right? You got your Odins, you got your Proximas, you got your Silver Surfers, Dr. Dooms, etc., Dormammu, Molecule Man. Disproportionately, right? And this has been the case for a long time. Disproportionately, native tier 2s and native tier 3s land in the category of universal types. Not to mention the fact, like, there's only one speed native tier 2 or native tier 3, right? It really is hyper focused. Now there are a couple of exceptions to this rule, I would say, Scarlet Witch being one of them, mainly because she is still meta for ABX, and she can still be used for ABL if you don't have a good enough build for Jean Grey tier 4. But I'm just looking through this list here, starting from Deadpool to Doctor Strange, Cable. There's just so many characters here that I have not used in so long. And the reason why I wanted to make this video was to warn people who may be looking at the ban list and maybe thinking, maybe now's the time that I tier 3 and build up Gore, or maybe now's the time that I build up Sentry. No, it's literally the opposite. It's literally the opposite. You may be getting baited into thinking you should build these characters, or like, oh man, maybe it's time I build Doctor Doom. No. Unlock these characters, sure, whatever you have to do, right? You can get through the Sentry Epic Quest if you want, as far as you want to go without investing too much, but you certainly don't want to be building these characters right now, because what we have to see, I don't mean to make too much of a fuss out of Kang, but we have to see his power level, right? Because remember, Gore came out when we just had a few tier 4s, and Gore needed a buff. He needed a campaign to beg the devs to buff him because he was bad. So if the same thing happens to Kang, then it's very clear that they don't want these native tier 3s, who are much easier to get and not as costly. They don't want these native tier 3s to just upstage tier 4s without the tier 4 investment. And if you're not watching and you're just listening, I'm making the money sign with my hand right now. Tier 4s are the money makers, right? There's not really much money to be made in Gore, because all you have to do is build up a couple of characters, which you can do without spending money, and then beat Gore 10 times to get 10 bios, and then build them up with the CCF that you get guaranteed by beating Gore or other World Boss Legends. So you actually don't have to spend a penny. It's just time and patience. So I'm imploring you to have more patience right now, because we really need to see how the devs handle Kang, if they make him a native tier 4, which would be, in my opinion, way too soon and way too expensive, but we know that they're in that mode where they're seriously in the milking mode for tier 4 mats and tier 4 packs. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went that route. But I wanted to make a quick little PSA video just to warn people, because with all the bans, obviously a lot of attention is getting put on Carnage in PvP, and in general, people are looking at other options. And unfortunately, I realized a lot of the options that I suggested, Gore, Sentry, Doom, Silver Surfer, they're all native tier 2. Right, they're all native tier 3 for that matter. Even Null, right? Even Null. Now, once these characters start getting uniforms and tier 4s, it's a completely different conversation. So this advice does not hold for that. This advice just holds for the current climate in which they are upgrading all these. I mean, for the most part, they're upgrading tier 1 characters to tier 4. I know that, Adam, Thanos, Jean, and Wolverine are an exception to that. But that's only 4 characters, right? That's only 4 characters out of what, 26, about to be 27 tier 4s that we have. So with 27 tier 4s, 4 of them are native tier 2. That's only about 15%. That's not bad. That's really not bad. And I may be off on the math a little bit here, but yeah, it's pretty close to that. And so that's not really that bad at all. Maybe it's more than some people would like, but I think it's a healthy balance. 85 to 15. right? It's pretty big. And then when you think about it, there's a lot of other characters here on the docket. Like we know for the Marvels movie, Captain Marvel's probably going to get a tier 4, maybe even Spectrum or Miss Marvel. So you have many other, right? For Loki season 2, he's going to get a tier 4. You have many other tier 3s and Transcendents who are native tier 1, right? Who aren't native tier 2 or native tier 3, waiting in the wings to get something, to get an upgrade to tier 4. You know, maybe She-Hulk, whatever, Shang-Chi with the movie, Kang Dynasty, etc., right? When is Silver Surfer going to be featured in content? Like, the CGI sucks at Marvel right now. They're not pulling Silver Surfer out of their ass. You know what I mean? Doctor Strange probably has the best chance, I would say. Doctor Strange and Deadpool, because we know that the Deadpool movie is being filmed right now. And then, of course, we know that actor Benedict Cumberbatch just said he's going to be in a Marvel feature as Doctor Strange next year. So we do have a couple that are on the horizon. But besides that, you know what? They haven't even found the actors for Fantastic Four, right? There's no Doom, you know. Dormammu, more CGI? Hell no. Molecule Man, even more CGI? Hell no, right? And plus, these characters are like big bads. You know, unless they go for something comic related, it just doesn't make any sense. Honestly, a lot of these characters too are just not that popular, right? They're just not that popular. Like Quicksilver, Ebony Maw, Apocalypse, not that popular in the grand scheme of things. And they seem to be really focused, hyper-focused in on the most popular characters, the ones that have the most hype, the ones that have the most buzz, and those tend to be the native tier 1 characters, you know, your Rogues, your Green Goblins, your Lokis, your Ghost Riders, etc. So yeah, I wanted to really hammer home the idea that now is a really bad time to build up these native tier 2s and native tier 3s. Of course, I know you have to build up to an extent. You have to build Quicksilver. I believe you have to build Scarlet and Cable in order to unlock Null. So if you're still on that path, don't deviate. You want to unlock World Boss Legend as soon as possible. You want to be able to farm World Boss Legend as soon as possible because of those, like we talked about, those guaranteed CCF drops, etc. But beyond that, I would say now is probably one of the worst times, right? They're going to see, here's what's going to happen. They're going to see how popular this is. They're going to see how much money they can make from this. And then if it's good, they're going to continually aggressively ban these types of characters. And it's going to keep baiting people into considering these other options. But you got to remember this advice and you got to steer clear for now, for the time being. They don't have enough power to compete, to be honest with you, on the one hand. And on the other hand, it's so easy for them to get replaced. Despite only having, what, 4 Universal Tier 4s, we're going to get a couple soon for sure by the end of the year. Maybe the only one that has a chance besides the rest that I didn't mention is Mephisto, because they've talked about him a lot for Ironheart. But I don't even think... Is that done filming? It might not be. It might be. But yeah. That's what I wanted to leave you guys with today. Just a quick little PSA on that. I hate to see people, you know, use up their resources on these kinds of characters and then regret it in just a couple of months. You got to be really, really careful with the native tier 3s, especially because it's like 100 million gold and 3,000 CCF. And then if they get banned or they get nerfed or they get, you know, neutered, if it's a feels bad moment, right? So yeah. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of that. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button. It helps out the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.